Hey everybody, Axe Wizard here. Welcome to the Pale Beyond. This is a game I've been looking at for a while. Just came out yesterday when this video gets uploaded. It's one of the content creators I like on YouTube, Bellular Gaming. This is one of his games. So I've been looking for like a good story narrative game for a while, and I'm very excited about this game. So I figured I just installed it. Let's just jump into it. So new game. Okay, let me see. Start a new expedition. Yeah. Okay. Select a week to prune and delete. Oh, I got to click. Okay, that's weird. Oh, the air be's cold. Okay, do I click? E? Oh, okay, that's a dialogue option. Oh, the air be's cold, of flaking white, as the sailors begs their pledge. Of homes they'll dream, of warmth long lost, and chased to frost world's edge. A hunger draws the desperate here. I don't know, I always picked the first one the whole time. What will ye do when steel hearts break and courage does abscond? I'll lead these souls, so help the gods. I'll do what must be done indeed. I'll learn to live a life out here. I don't know, I'll play the first one again. So help the gods out of the pale beyond. Begin your journey. Okay, I wonder if those like are just things that just set like variables that you know, like sort of seed the game or whatever, or maybe, I don't know. Crew wanted. Able-bodied crew wanted for dangerous expedition. Months of darkness, low wages, slim chance of safe return. Glory to be had in the event of success. Okay. Got a metronome there, that's interesting. You're alone in the office. The tea in your hand has long since gone cold. It's perfectly adequate. I'd rather coffee. I don't matter. It's perfectly adequate. Can I just hit E this entire time? No. Looking around the room, you can make out a collection of military books. On the desk is a ship in a bottle. How'd they get it in there? A metronome ticks away steadily. It's insufferable. I hate it. Constant chime begins to wear at the patience. At my patience, your patience. It's interesting. Stop its infernal ticking. There we go. You attempt to stop the ticking. The needle breaks off. Okay. I'm gonna pocket that. That's mine. I'm gonna need that for later. It stops. Keep waiting. You hear footsteps climbing the stairs that brought you here. Remain standing. The door behind you swings open. The captain bounds past you to the other side of the desk. Do you have all of your teeth? I'll open my mouth, sure. You bare your teeth to the man. Good. Could never be too careful. The captain sits down. It's the little things that you can lose people to. Are you speaking from experience? I've not had scurvy before. You're late. I'll say, are you speaking from experience? Are you speaking from experience? So my name is Shaw, I guess? Okay. The captain. How many people have died under your supervision? None, or more than I care to admit. I'm going to say more than I care to admit. More than I'd care to admit. Can you remember their faces? Every single one. Please take a seat. Thank you. The chair is uncomfortably large. The seat feels worn. Oh, he's lighting up? Okay. I'm Captain Hunt. Let's see. The pleasure is mine, Robin Shaw. He nods. On your desk, what ship is that? So what's the job? Wait for him to continue. You know what I'm gonna wait for him to continue. I'm gonna do a power play here. I hope you weren't waiting too long. I'll say I'm told it's worth the wait. Good. There's been a lot of candidates. Some good, some bad. Interesting mix. I'm sure you understand the need for discretion. Keep listening. Months of darkness. Low wages. Slim chance of safe return. That didn't deter you, did it? I'll say, like, quite the opposite. It's why I'm here. I want to be a badass, you know? A thirst for adventure, then. He winks. I'd keep that to yourself around the other sailors. They might drown you in it. I have a few questions first. Is this like a job interview? He looks down at a list of questions. Were you born a landlubber or a sea dog? I'm sorry? I'm asking where you crawled out of. It's all right. We've all sorts here. So the landborn are those born and raised within imperial society, raised in the colonial cities. Landborn appropriately spend much of their life and work within these cities. While it is unheard of, those who find themselves working at sea are rarely tasked with manual labor. The saltborn are the sons and daughters of the sea, a solitary culture of sailors and whalers. The saltborn are rarely away from open waters. The vast majority of sailing crews are made up of their ranks, though few are found in the position of an officer. Mutwash prove harder to place, a mix of salt and earth in their upbringing. Mutwash tend to live as drifters, rarely belonging to any one group. As such, they tend to be well-traveled and well-experienced, but struggle to find acceptance and belonging. I'll be a mutt drift or whatever it was. Mutwash. If I knew, I'd tell you. I've been all over, but I'm here now. It's kind of interesting how you had to actually do a dialogue option to have the captain explain to you what that meant. Although I would assume, like in the context, your character, the character you are, would already know that context. So I'm not sure if I like how they did that, but I mean, I don't think the captain, this guy, thinks any less of me. A Mutwash. Plenty of those joining. Myself included. Oh, he winks at me again. Okay. Military experience? I'm going to be a badass, so I'll say Royal Admiralty. Colonial. Royal Admiralty. 2 tours. A Mutwash from the Navy. I guess I'm not that special these days. Under what circumstances did you leave? I mean, honorably, awesome. Honorably? Well, we've no stewards to wipe your arse out here. You'd best get used to doing that yourself. Have you ever fired a weapon? Of course. Yes. Have you ever killed a man, directly or otherwise? Yes, of course. I see. You're not married, are you? Of course not. You better not have a death wish. One must believe they'll return to justify leaving in the first place. Oh, he doesn't like that answer. It's cool how you can see his face change expression. Any less and you're doing yourself a disservice. Let him continue. We're here to find the ship in that bottle. The Viscount. Heard of it? No, enlighten me. 5 years ago, she set sail on a research expedition towards the Dead Peninsula. They were trying to find and study the absolute magnetic south. Did they? Did they what? I'll say, did they complete their research? Oh, yes, I have no idea. She never came back. Her last known location was 200 miles south of land, presumed lost to the ice. 5 years is a bit late for a rescue operation. They're probably dead. Alive or not, their research is supposedly of extreme importance. And we're supposed to be chasing that research? Exactly. Alright, you have my attention. Captain smiles. Here's what we do know. I like how he kind of like got a little closer and like he got lit up a little more. Not one person or thing has been heard from the Viscount since it first left port. They're definitely all dead. Until now? Until now. Someone was found who claims to have been on that ship. Can I speak to them? No, they're dead, but their testimony seems to have outlived them. Those with more money than sense want that old ship. That's the job. And if I don't pick the first mate, somebody else will, and, well, my judge of character's gotten me this far. One of our crew. Quite the mix, a work in progress. Some I've known for years. They get in on trust and experience. Okay. Others, well, they interview. Let's see, any impressed you? That remains to be seen. We do have transport, though. We'll be traveling on board the Temperance. She's a beauty, Greenwood, generational. Not many like it left these days. The Viscount and the Temperance. They're sister ships. Built together. Sent out into this world to die alone. Poetic? Indeed. I like to think this one calls out for the other. The captain looks at the bottled ship. So, what do you think? I'll say, it sounds like you need all the help you can get. We will. The captain checks his watch. Anyway, I think I've heard enough. The captain stands up. We leave in a month. Welcome aboard, Shaw. Proverbially speaking. Let's see, do I have the job? What do you think? I'll see you on the Temperance. I have a good feeling about you, Shaw. That makes one of us. I'll say, thank you, Captain. You know what? Integrity. I broke your metronome earlier. Oh. Don't worry. This isn't my office. The captain makes his way to the door and you follow. Good. You arrive at the docks a month to the day. Before you lies a ship. The letters on its side read Temperance. Okay. Approach the Temperance. You walk the cobble to the boarding ramp. Beside is a sharply dressed man overseeing the loading of cargo. Okay, I guess I gotta talk to this guy. He turns to you with a stern expression. You can feel his eyes assessing you. A military gate. You must be the hunt's pick for first mate. I figured he'd keep it in the ranks. Good man. He extends an arm. Richard Templeton, a pleasure. Shake his hand. It's a considered shake. I shall be operating as Chief Science Officer on this expedition. I am also the incumbent representative of our benefactor. Do, however, consider myself and my team at you and the captain's disposal. Let's see, I'll say, Mr. Templeton, I look forward to working together. I expect you to be up for the task. Some of the layabouts Hunt hired are questionable, at best. No doubt I need to inform you of your duties. You're second only to Captain Hunt himself. Though I must warn you that you have quite the task ahead. The rabble I've spent the afternoon sorting are the same that you'll have to whip into shape. Punctuality, schedule, a strict adherence is what we need if this expedition is to succeed. I expect you to be the organized sort. You would not have been assigned the role otherwise. So what's all this stuff over here? So, it's 10 below zero. Pretty cold. Week 0, morning. I'm gonna say I have more than enough experience with the crew of this nature. That is comforting to hear. It would seem for most of the crew the captain favored personal history over expertise. It's good to know he found the capable sort for such a vital role. Let me know when you're ready to depart. The less valuable time we waste here, the better. Is there anybody else that I can talk to? A young man? I can go back into the city if I want to. Let's see. I'm going to talk to this guy. A young man stands at the ramp, steeling himself for the journey ahead. Hesitantly, he begins to drag his feet up the ramp and onto the ship. Okay. I'll take a look at the ship. Ooh, I like how more stuff like came into view as it zoomed out. Hunt's description of the ship was accurate. Near identical to the Viscount, barring some modern additions. You can set sail if you want to. I can go back in the city. Yeah, let's set sail. Week 1 on the Temperance. This is cool. I love the art. It's been a month? Okay. First Mate Shaw, personal log. It's been 1 month since I signed on, and 1 week since we set sail aboard the Temperance. I'm told the waters will get warmer as we pass the hemisphere before they turn colder. I will say the Temperance. The Admiralty had nothing like this. She's magnificent. A technical marvel. Elegant machinery expertly weaved through one of the fastest hardwood ships of this day. She's reborn for this, or reborn for this mission, breathing again with life. She's simply magnificent. Who's paying for this? I can't but wonder who's footing the bill for all this. Certainly not the captain. Such exquisite modifications to the ship mustn't have come cheap. I need to investigate further. As for the rest of the crew, actually as for this master... See, as for its master, he's mostly kept to his quarters so far. I trust the captain. Captain seems a trustworthy sort. Experience alone justifies his position. There aren't many who make it out the other end of naval military service with all their limbs, let alone his vigor. I'll say I've heard the rumors. I've heard rumors. Drinking, desertion. There's probably a good reason he's dressed in antiques. I'll say I do find myself warming to the man. As for the rest of the crew, there are now 22 of us, including the captain. Our next port will be our last before we enter the ice. To pick up the remaining 4 members of the crew, a scouting team. Hunt is also keen to work out a deal on a pack of sledding dogs. I'll say I've sailed with worse. The Admiralty had its rot just like anywhere else. Sign off. One of Hunt's sailors approaches. Captain wants you at the helm. I'll head there now. He leaves. So, join Hunt at the helm. You ascend the stairs to the stern and find the old captain manning the helm of the ship. Ah, Robin, lovely day for it, isn't it? One of your lackeys summoned me. I'll say it is indeed, Captain. Indeed. It's days like these I make sure to do my share of the sailing. He winks. Let him continue. He thinks for a moment before stepping aside and stretching out a wrinkled hand. Did you ever take the helm in the Admiralty? Never felt right not to, for me. Here, why don't you have a try? Take the wheel. You grip the wheel of the ship and feel the weight of the waves in your arms. Okay, use right to pan around. The memory in your muscles rear themselves as you begin to move in time with the ship and the wind. Whoa, okay. That's cool. Easy. There, you have it. The captain pats you on the back. Fantastic. Now try to get a sense of where we are. Get some perspective. I can zoom, okay. We're in the middle of the frickin' ocean. It's misty out, man. There's too much fog. I can't see. Dude, this scroll wheel, like... It feels like I have to, like, zoom the whole thing to, like, zoom in, like, one little increment. Peaceful, isn't it? Panning and zooming speeds can be adjusted in the settings menu. Thank you. He takes the wheel back from you. I think I'll drink the morning in a little longer. Would you mind preparing my quarters for the day's work? There's much to do. Sure. Go to Captain's cabin. Captain's cabin. Let's see. Let's take a look around. Oh, he's got the desk. On the desk, you make out a variety of papers, notes, and maps, as well as a sealed letter with a stamp you don't recognize. The desk itself is suspended with ropes to keep it safely in place. Smart. Although, if it's suspended with ropes to keep it in place, I bet it's just like a big battering ram. Okay. A classical painting depicting sailors doing battle with a kraken. Cool. Mutwash. An ode to an old folk story known to all Captain Seamus. Or was it Hamish? A pristine, furnished tub, secured to the floor. A luxury to be had on the ice. Yeah, let's do it. Take requests. You take a seat at the end of the room. The captain joins you. Now, let's run through our provisions before taking requests. To start, there's 23 souls signed on to this expedition, ourselves included. That's 16 free to be assigned to tasks if they aren't already busy. The rest are deployed to their permanent stations. You are only able to deploy crew who you have discovered. They must be in good health and not otherwise deployed to another post. We'll be picking up the scouting crew at the next port. A lot of us also seem to be in good spirits. Cool. The expedition will end, tearing itself apart if you end the week with no decorum left. We have enough provisions for at least 6 months in case of emergency. If you cannot afford the minimum food rations at the end of the week, crew will become malnourished. Okay? Unless cured, the malnourished status will develop into scurvy. A severe status that prevents crew from working, eventually killing them at the end of a week. And more than enough fuel to see us back there and back again. Colder temperatures will increase the minimum fuel required at the end of a week. If you cannot afford that minimum fuel, the crew will become freezing. Unless cured, the freezing status will develop into frostbite. Prevents them from working, eventually kills them. The sledding dogs, well, they're still a matter of negotiation. Dogs will be needed to send sledding teams to gather resources on the ice. Sending hunts out further requires a greater amount of dogs. They will rest and become available between the weeks. Now, on to work. Corvid Codell. Let's talk to Corvid, I guess. He's first. A sailor enters. We found a stowaway in the lower hold. Bring them in. Another sailor enters, leading a young man by their side. You know, you're not the first stowaway I've had. The captain studies them further. You know where we're heading, don't you? I do, sir. The ice. Did you know that before you climbed inside that crate? I did, sir. Ha! How old are you? You're hardly a useful pair of hands. Not true. I can pull my weight, sir. Do you know your jaboon from your bowsprit? I do. Learned it all from my da. Your da? He's Ward's son. Followed him on board back in the city. What should we do with him, Captain? Well, Shaw? Hunt eyes you up. Your first mate, what should we do with him? I'd keep them aboard. Why? You need all the help you can get. This young man wants to help. I'd say we let him. Alright, boy. Consider yourself part of the crew. Be sure to keep your nose clean and follow orders. I will. Thank you, sir. Captain, not sir. Aye, Captain. Stowaway joins the two sailors below deck, now a member of the crew. Well, it seems the litter has a new runt. I hope the rest won't mind sharing their rations. Yep. What of the father? I doubt he intended for this to happen. We'll keep an eye on them both. Yeah, no father would probably want to bring their son willingly into danger, so I'm willing to bet that the kid did it on its own. It's not the father's fault. I suppose you're right. Well, that matter's sorted. Next up, Cordell. Cordell, have you agreed upon my conditions? To the point, eh? Shaw, this is Lady Cordell. Cordell here is to provide us with the kennel of hounds for the sleds. And our agreement was that she would train them up until we part ways at the nearest island, but you neglected to inform me that you were bringing my dogs through the Pale Passage. I had no intention of sending the pack to its death. You seem to have good faith in this expedition. It's one thing to ask for my whole kennel. It's another to drag them into the ice to chase a myth. Never before has a buyer been so dishonest. And never before has a seller made such strong demands. And what exactly are these demands? She demands we allow her to come along on the expedition as a member of the crew. None on this ship have the experience and familiarity with these dogs that I possess. If you're taking them to such a brutal location, they will need me to guide them if they have any chance of survival. And the humans on board too, of course. Of course. You can see my dilemma, Shaw. We've just accepted a stowaway. Bringing on another member of the crew is a risk, but our hands may be tied. Your thoughts? I don't see the harm in having an expert on sled dogs. A good point, Shaw. He turns to her. This deal is already to your benefit. Do you have anyone on board with extensive training in the management and ruling of dogs? Your sleds are useless if you can't control the dogs efficiently to haul them. And I would like to ensure my dogs are treated properly. Welcome aboard, Cordell. Your knowledge should prove valuable. Invaluable. I'll have a room prepared for you below deck. No need. You'll find me in the forecastle with the dogs. She leaves. I hope I'm not making a mistake, Shaw. Look at that. We got 14 dogs. Cool. Now that's all settled. I have one more errand for you to run. So with that, if I'd known that like we were at a port or whatever, I would have sent the kid away. Like last I heard, we were at sea. Like it just told me to, you know, hey, you know, send this kid, like just go down to my office and then prepare for business while we're sailing. And then we get to his office. No indication that we've arrived anywhere, because from what I understood, from what it told me, is that when we get to the port where we pick up the rest of our crew, we're also going to get the other dogs. But then we just had the lady with the 14 dogs on here anyway? I don't understand. So that's a little weird. Now that's all settled, I have one more errand for you to run. Could you grab the Stoke brothers and order them to meet me up deck after dinner? Hefty lads, red hair, you couldn't mistake them for another. I'll say the Stoke brothers, who are they? You haven't met all the crew yet? The Stokes have been serving me for years. They'll be down in the middle deck. In the meantime, you should grab a copy of the crew manifest and get acquainted with more of the crew. Okay. I guess I'll leave. You know, I'm gonna join the figure balancing on the mast. Upon closer inspection, you make out the ship's photographer, Kasha Belford, balanced on the ship's mast with her camera, lining up a photo. I'll wait for her to finish. Snapping a shot, she clambers down, only noticing you on her landing. Oh, Officer Shaw. It's about time I met the first officer of this ship. Kasha Belford. Nice to meet you, Kasha. I suppose there was some sort of rule against what I was doing up there? Deepest apologies, but sometimes there's a shot you cannot pass up. An accomplished photographer, Kasha Belford won the Fentler Prize, the highest honor in journalism, for her work covering plague outbreaks and riots in the capital. It came as a surprise to many that such a reputable journalist would take such an interest in this expedition. There was scarcely any chance of Hunt or the benefactor turning her away. You expected someone of her accolades to be older, more experienced. This is likely her first time on the sea like this. Her proof is all we have. I'll say her accomplishments surely outweigh her youth. Inexperience is a matter of interest, but her accolades speak for themselves. The cold game. Picture that as a header. Let her continue. For the piece on this voyage, I'm trying to come up with a snappy name. Nobody will read it if the title sounds like the work of an amateur. I'm not the creative type. I'm sure you'd know better. I'm not the creative type. Yeah, or that's me, not her. Kasha tilts her head and grits her teeth, holding an inner debate with herself. Maybe not. How about Hunt's Incredible Voyage? Too fantastical? I suppose I'll find the right name when the time comes. I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? Apologies, I'm just a little excited. I've never been on a voyage like this. I suppose someone of your experience finds it all boring at this point. A trip to the ice may seem dull compared to the Royal Admiralty. I'm not adverse to thrills. Well, I hope we don't have... I hope we have some coming this way. I'm hoping to capture something right out of Kurt Darling's old escapades. I don't. That reminds me, he'll be joining us at next port. I should get his picture at some point. Kasha holds up her camera with a sense of pride before holding it up to her face. Stand still, Shaw. I'll say, how long do they take to develop? Only a day or two. I've made a makeshift dark room in the hold. Speaking of photographs, she hands you an annotated document. Here it is, the crew manifest. Cool. So we got sailors, scouts, engineers, scientists, specialists. I like how, like, my face is all... It's not, like, developed yet or whatever, I guess. It's a work in progress. The scout team are to join us at the next port, and the captain's forbidden me from the boiler room. If you could ask the others to get their portraits taken, I'd be very grateful. I don't want to leave anyone out. Thank you, Kasha. I'll not disturb you of your work any further, officer. I have a few more shots I want to get before the sun lowers, anyhow. Safe shots, officer. Don't worry. You leave her to her work. Alright, let's go ahead and talk to Two Johns over here. You spot a large man with a youthful gait, carrying a heavy crate over his shoulder with relative ease. Oh, you're Officer Shaw. He gives a bright, warming smile. Two Johns. That's what they call me. I'm sure you'll get your nickname. I'm sure you're going to get your nickname later. Two Johns attempts to offer a handshake but loses control of the crate. He struggles before firmly holding it in place with both hands. Ah, maybe later. Work awaits. Cool. Descend below deck. Let's see. Nobody else on this deck right now. I guess we'll go to the mid deck. Alright. I'm gonna approach the accordion guy. One of the crew, a red-headed man with a thick beard, sits proud, playing on an ivory accordion. He spots you and ceases in his playing. Need something? Nice accordion. You mind if I see? You can see from there. No touching. Who are you? The man grunts. Grimly. I'm the ship's carpenter. I was just looking for the Stoke brothers. Emergency? As long as they aren't loafing around like you, it'll be fine. I'll just say just a meeting with Hunt. You're speaking to one of them. Grimly Stoke. We'll head up after dinner. You can go now. The man gestures to the cook across the room before his playing. I guess we'll say call the crew for dinner, I guess. Actually, is there anything else that I can do? Not really. I guess we can go to the forecastle. Appears to be locked. Kennel Master's preparing the room. Okay. Yeah, let's call everybody for dinner. The crew have their meal. It passes in relative silence. The crew return to their posts. The hammocks are unfurled in preparation for the evening. Twilight falls. I'm gonna go to the dinner table here. Over dinner, you overhear the newly picked up stowaway speaking with a one-armed man. But you're lucky Hunt didn't throw you overboard. Half a mind to do that myself. Come on, I'm here to help. Better know that involves work. Don't expect special treatment. I won't. You're an impossible child, Timmy. Cool, alright. Let's go back up. Looks like I can talk to... Is this the captain? Or is somebody else? Mr. Gloss. Let's go talk to Mr. Gloss. You spot one of Templeton's science team pacing around the middeck, searching through some luggage that has been pulled from a cabin. Let me look in the light. Where was it now? He notices you. Officer Shaw, correct? Dwight Glossley. Apologies, I seem to have misplaced something while setting up in the cabin. A bottle of wine, actually. Say you best not be drinking on the job. Oh, of course not. I have to keep the senses sharp in this work. My wife and I brought a bottle to celebrate with. To be saved for the journey back, of course. Well, if you find it, please let me know. Okay. There's Templeton. The ocean. I'm gonna go look at the ocean real quick. As you look over the railing out of the ocean, a wisp of smoke flies past your face. You turn to examine and spot a sailor with a pipe in his mouth and a sheet of paper in his hand, overlooking the stirring waters. Looking at something? Who are you? Tashi. After introducing himself, Tashi falls silent and begins to read the letter. Trying to draw a conversation from him may be similar to extracting teeth. Okay. Templeton. You spot Templeton looking out at the sunset. As you approach, he turns to you and nods. Officer Shaw. It will be some time before we see a sunset such as this again. The light distribution towards the southern pole is quite the change. I noticed you weren't at dinner with the others. I prefer to eat in solitude. I have my own cabin, and I make use of it. Templeton keeps his focus on the reflection of the setting sun over the stirring waters of the ocean. There is great expectation upon us, officer. I'll say, are you feeling the pressure, Mr. Templeton? I cannot afford to. We all have to keep our focus. Templeton looks down, catching his reflection in the ocean surface. He looks back up at the sunset. Quite the sight, but I wouldn't linger upon it too long. We should retire for the evening. It is important for the first officer to be well rested. But I don't want to advance yet. I guess we got to. Yeah, we'll do normal crew rations and normal fuel rations. That's fine. Confirm. Wait, what? How do we lose half of our fuel and half of our rations in one friggin' week? Okay, so the ship makes its last port. Cordell's sledding dogs are picked up. The scouting crew and Kurt Darling are picked up. The days are getting brighter as you move further south. I guess we'll start next week. Week 2. Saved game to tree. Alright. Alright, I saved the game. Does it let me... Cool. So I think this is a good stopping point. I'm going to stop it here. Really enjoying this game so far. I love just how immersed it makes you feel. I'm not sure why we're already down half fuel and half food already. That's a bit concerning. But yeah. Anyway, it's saved. Let me know if you want to see me play this some more. I'm going to play it regardless, but because I'm invested in the story. But let me know if you want to see me make more videos on it and watch my playthrough of it. I think I will anyway, just because it seems like this game, there's so many different choices that you can make, probably, that it probably has... You know, you might have very different results, and so people might want to see that. So I'm going to make more videos on it, but thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.